Southern Woods and Waters TV. That's where you want to be. Foggy mornings in the field, come the creek with rod and reel, doing what we love in Tennessee. Patriot Demolition presents Southern Woods and Waters with Hugh McNaughton and Brandon Dowdy. Also being brought to you by Sniper Hunting Products, Deer 30 Minerals, Candy Fork Outdoors, Weststone Cry-Like Realtors, TWRA, Capital Sportsman, Nashville Marine, Davidson Farmers Co-op, Courtney's Restaurant and Catering, Mowing and More, CVA, Wilson Bank and Trust, Flowers Processing and Garden Center, X-Out Odor Products, and Hunter Up.
All right, welcome everyone. I'm Hugh McNaughton.
And I'm Brandon Dowdy.
And we are
Southern Woods and Waters.
And I tell you what, we've got a fantastic show for you tonight. We've already been preambled here, you know.
We're going to have a good time tonight.
We're going to have a great time. We have with us Kevin Kennedy, the lawyer that you were just watching just about 3 or 4 minutes ago.
4 minutes ago. He came all the way across.
He came all the way 20-some odd feet across here.
This makes me feel like I'm at Cracker Barrel with this rocket.
But Kevin, I mean, you went from an executive chair over there to a rocking chair. Which one do you like best?
Well, the truth is, I've always wanted to get over here on the set because y'all have so much fun.
We do have fun.
Food and fun and laughter. So, golly, I've been excited about getting to be here on the set with you.
Well, Kevin, I tell you what, you and I have talked for many years.
Yes, we have.
And I've always wanted Kevin to be on here with me. We finally got you lassoed into it.
It's a great time. This is one of my goals being fulfilled, to be over here on this.
That's right. Well, I tell you what, you know, there's all kinds of questions out there, and we want to hit on them tonight. We've got Kevin Kennedy. You can't ask for a better law firm to represent you than the Kevin Kennedy and Associates.
Thank you.
Kevin, so many laws are changing. I mean,
you know,
they act like they have nothing else to do, but let's change this and just to tweak it a little bit.
Don't you know it? So this is a good time if you've got your legislator. You always want to talk. So can you not leave the laws alone in Tennessee? Let the hunters hunt. Let the fishermen fish. You know, we don't need any more regulation.
Right.
So when I came tonight, boy, I've had so many things I wanted to share. And, you know, we still go back to these basic principles. Due process.
That's right.
And so you let a reasonable man, what can we do? But one of the top things I wanted to share was the liability. You know, every time we go hunting, every time we go fishing, every time you're underneath the laws of Tennessee and the wildlife, I have so much I'd like to share, but you've got to be aware that if you pull that trigger, you better know where it's going. If there's a misunderstanding, you're going to have it. The other thing is like the wildlife, some of them are my great friends, and of course I represent people in the court all the time, and some of the things that you would learn, I'd say I didn't know that. So I constantly I'm feeding information. I say, well, what are y'all seeing? Did you see any bobcats? Are you seeing? And they keep me posted on all of those kinds of things. And I said, well, how did you catch them? And they would tell me, but listen to this one, Hugh, and you can break in any time. So anyway, one of my clients, the people got on him. They were looking for him for poaching deer off the river. And so they knew about it, so they put one of these little microphones and cameras on the end of the boot. And they went up, hey, Hugh, what are you doing? And I'm telling you, the TV was as clear as me on this TV.
Right.
The audio was as clear as, and they said, well, what are you doing? And so he just talks away. How bad? Loose lips sink ships.
That's right.
And you can talk your way into trouble. And so you need to be extra sensitive on whoever you're talking to. Sometimes they are uniformed and sometimes they are not. And people can give bad information. You just have to protect yourself and your family and your children. We say that all the time. But when I saw that, I could not believe. Now the question is, was I able to get away? Were we go on and tell it, Brandon? Tell it one time.
That's the question of the night.
And so all the landowners, they're in the same boat. You know, they said, well, we would love for y'all to come, but Kevin, I don't want to get my fences tore down.
That's what I want to ask you. That's what I want to hear. That's what the question we hear most of, Kevin, is landowners are what I want to
nervous, so
say.
to speak.
Everybody's nervous.
They just don't want to just give somebody permission
Yes.
to hunt their property.
Right.
Because if that guy's going in and say he's going in at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's still dark.
Yes.
He steps in an old hole that used to be
Come
a
on.
tree there. He breaks his foot.
Come on.
The landowner thinks, well, am I liable for that?
Yes. And the truth is the landowner really wouldn't be liable for
That's
any of
what
that.
I'm trying to say.
And unless he had it covered up,
Right.
he knew it, and it created a nuisance. And he said, yeah, y'all go straight on down this path. And he leads you into a situation that's hazardous and dangerous, then he could have taken on some liability. Let's talk just for a moment about these waivers. You know, many times we might sign a little lease. And landowners, it's not a bad idea.
Right.
You know, get $500 and let you go hunt deer for this certain period of time, and we do that all the time. A good understanding keeps down a misunderstanding.
You're exactly right.
And so if, you know, you said, I'm going to come over on one of your farms, I won't break down your fences. If something's pulled down, I'll fix it. We won't shoot any of your cattle.
That's right.
We're very sensitive. And so then you're a man of your word, and we could have an understanding and operate like that forever. You know, I have a horse farm, and we go trail riding, and they have all kinds of field trials. And so that is a wonderful way of life. So legislators, if y'all are listening to us, help us preserve this way of life. And you know, for hundreds and hundreds of years, they've allowed us to go shoot coons and all kinds of fun game, turkeys and ducks. And we should do everything in our power to respect the law. So if you're getting ready to go, you know, almost everything is covered under Tennessee Code annotated. So you can Google, say, well, hey, Siri, can you tell me how many ducks can I kill, or what is the season? There's a host of information, and I've said before, they're going to hold us to that information.
Yes, sure
so
are.
when in doubt, look about. When in doubt, ask a question.
That's right.
And we can call the wildlife people and say, hey, is this okay? Is this
Judge
legal or
will
not?
tell you, ignorance is no excuse.
Come
for
on.
law.
It's not. There's too much information
much
out there now. I
information.
mean, you got the internet, like you
Tell
say.
it.
You got guys like us. You got pages on Facebook.
Well,
you
how
got
many
apps,
guys go hunt with
TWRA,
one of these?
And an app. There's TWRA.
There's apps in here
right
that
there on
tell
your phone.
everything, you know?
So if it smells bad, if someone's telling you, and that doesn't just sound right, it's kind of like this guy says, if it's too good to be true, then it is.
Yeah.
And so we know when you're out here running these lights and you say, well, man, I'll just get him. Well, who knows what kind of trouble you're going to get in. And let me say this, a lot of people don't understand this. You get caught, they take all your guns. And guess what? If they think you've been involved in one of these little conspiracy rings, and I've been telling Brandon and you've been involved, they will come to your home and take all
your guns.
Take all your deer heads.
That's right.
They'll take all the meat out of the freezer.
That's right.
And every gun. And if you say, well, yeah, I got some of my guns at Daddy's house, where are they going next?
To Daddy's house.
They're on the way, ain't
And then they'll get all the guns, and then it's a dispute.
That's right.
And so a lot of times they'll say, well, Kevin, now he's going to go to jail over this. He's going to go to prison. He's going to do this and that. And so we're looking for a way to negotiate. We don't want you going to prison. Now,
Heck
Brandon,
no.
that might be a different story. A few days might
I'm
help
outta
you.
here,
but-
yeah.
Brandon might want me to go.
well, I can see us right now. When they came and said, okay, which one of y'all shot?
Well, if Hugh goes, you got to come host with me for a little while.
I'd say, wait a minute, Hugh. I got to stay out to get y'all out of trouble.
Well, the other thing I see a lot of, and Brandon has too, social media.
Come on.
Okay, now social media, great avenue to get information out there. But guys and gals, some of this information we're letting these people have out here will get you a ticket.
Will get you in trouble.
It'll get you in trouble.
Serious trouble, yes.
You cannot kill a snake in the confines of the Tennessee state line.
Yes.
Period.
Not a venomous
Period.
snake, not a non-venomous snake.
And if you
at that
do,
night.
please don't post the biggest rattlesnake or the biggest grass snake or
Yes.
garter snake I've ever seen in my life. You know, come
And
on,
say,
you're
what
going
kind
to
of
get in
snake is
trouble.
there? That's what you see out there. What kind of snake is this?
What kind of
you know?
snake is this? And they're holding it by the
Head's
tail,
missing.
and the head's missing, it's been chopped up.
Well,
It's
the
like,
truth is, you
you're
know,
gonna get in
that's
trouble.
perfect to try to talk to someone, and they say, well, let's get a little search warrant. You say, Kevin, they can't do that. Well, let me tell you, they're going to do it.
They're going to.
And they'll come in there and seize all these things, and then you say, well, golly, I didn't know they could do it. I hear that when? Every week.
Every
I didn't know they could do that.
I'm telling you, we got to do our.
It's time to go over and do this week's wild game forecast. This week's weekly wild game forecast is being sponsored by our friends over at Wilson Bank and Trust. Got about 30 locations right here in the Middle Tennessee area. You can stop in and see them. And when you do this time, ask them about their special rates they have for those that are 60 and above.
Hey, I almost fit in that category.
Come on. We're going to get you set up. Get Scott Jasper on the phone, and he can go ahead and get your
I'd like to
paperwork
get y'all
filled
to
out.
co-sign with me while we got this working with the bank.
Yeah.
We'll go buy some new boats
Well,
and
I'll
some
tell you
guns.
what we do have. Chris Snow sent us a picture, and we weren't able to get it on it. Maybe we'll get it on next week. But just a guy that was on Lake Barkley, and he was throwing a cast net. Of course, he was catching shad and stuff like that. He caught about a 7.5, between 7.5 and 8 pound smallmouth on Barkley, and that is huge, ladies and gentlemen, to catch a fish like that on Barkley.
We didn't get to get it on here tonight. We're going to try to share it.
We're going to try to get it on there next week. But I promise you, that's a fish. That's a hog, what we call a fish. So the fishing, we got high waters all in West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. You got high waters. A lot of people are struggling to catch fish. Well, guess what? They've got about 3 times the water that they used to be in. So they're everywhere, and they're scattered. But remember this: as the days go by, they're going to get hungrier and hungrier. They're going to start confining and getting into those schools again. Then they're going to be a little bit easier to catch. Remember, if a parking lot, there was a guy that posted on Facebook, he was parking lot fishing because the asphalt was warmer than the rest of the water because the asphalt was warm. So fish were on it. He was catching fish. So you got to use your noodle just a little bit on this high water stuff.
That fishes those parking lots.
Me and Dayton wore them out a few years ago. While everybody else was struggling in 2010, Dayton and I were whacking them.
And our small game forecast is it'll start again next year in November.
It's over.
So that's that's kind of come to an end. Remember, today is the 28th of February.
You better have your license tomorrow.
New license tomorrow. You'll be calling Kevin.
Wow,
that's right.
Guys, we want to remind you to follow us on Facebook. Keep up with us there. We've got lots of things going on there, new stuff for you just about every day. And we'll be back here in just a minute after a break with some more Southern Woods and Waters.